Hi there guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel depending on where you come from. I am Gareth the Geek, and in this video I'm going to be showing off the Marvel Studios Infinity Saga 4K box set, collector's edition, ultimate, whatever you want to call this thing. This is the very expensive, and we'll get onto that in a moment, box set that Disney released many years ago to sort of signify the end of the Infinity Saga. I've been after this set for quite some time now. Before we go any further, I would like to apologise for the amount of time it's taken for this video to come out. I've just had some personal things going on, some work going on in the house, so I've been unable to do this. I did start recording this video, but then realised that my mic wasn't properly plugged in halfway through it, so I've had to redo it. So I'm not going to go into too much preamble. I'm just going to jump straight into this set. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off this Perspex top. And it is a little bit mucky and does need a little bit of clearing up. There's some fingerprints and there's some of these snot blobs, as some people call them, that are to hold on the J card, if you will. And then you are presented with all of the films, or 23 of them, that of course composed the Infinity Saga. So there we can see this panoramic view of Thanos and all of the Avengers and what have you. I'm now going to turn this round, and that's the other side with all of the films. And also, if I grab this flap here, there is also a secret compartment here which we'll get to a little bit later. But I'm just going to start going through each of these. So the first film that of course kicked off, I think back in 2008 if I'm not mistaken, yep, it says it on the spine just there, was the original Iron Man. That's the back there with Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. So they each come with a quote on the back. I'm going to read out each quote. So I shouldn't be alive unless it was for a reason. And then we have Tony Stark on the other side. And then we have both the 4K and the Blu-ray in each of these little... Each individual one has both the 4K and the Blu-ray in each of them. We then have the Incredible Hulk. I do believe this is the Edward Norton Hulk, if I remember correctly. But on the back, it just says Hulk Smash. And then we have the Hulk. And then, of course, we have the Hulk on both 4K and Blu-ray. One thing I thought was these were not reauthored discs for the set. They are actually reauthored. Because if you notice, each disc has a load of icons in the background, and depending on what movie that you're looking at, the icon for that particular movie is highlighted. So of course this is Hulk, so Hulk is highlighted. So there we go. And then on Iron Man, the Iron Man fist or the Iron Man face would have been highlighted. So there we go. We're then going to move up to Iron Man 2. Absolutely love Iron Man 2 personally. Have watched it many a time. I can binge watch this. I already told you I don't want to join your super secret boy band. Of course, that is Tony Stark's response to Nick Fury of joining the Avengers, essentially the Avengers program. But of course, is it Stephanie Romanoff, the Black Widow, basically gives him a psych eval that basically would stop him joining it anyway because of his narcissism, essentially. There we go. Iron Man 2. We then have Thor. I haven't actually seen any of the Thor films as of yet. So, but on the back it says, "Whoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor." There we go. And there's the back of Thor. And then, of course, we have the two discs. That one is upside down, but there we go. Make sure I put these back properly. Next up, we've got Captain America, the First Avenger. And on the back, it says, I can do this all day. There we go. And then again, we have both the 4K and the Blu-ray. I know there are going to be some people out there that may question why I end up buying this set. I've been after this set for about 2 or 3 years. Now, I know that when it comes to the actual movies on each of these discs is not the best version of these that you can get. Unfortunately, that's on Disney Plus because that's the focus for Disney at the moment. But this just is an awesome, awesome shelf piece, and I've wanted it for quite some time. So, you know, it became a bit of a forbidden fruit for me, in a sense. We then have Avengers Assemble, which is another just film I can just binge. Obviously directed by Joss Whedon. On the back it says, if we can't protect the Earth, you can be damn well sure we'll avenge it. So there we go. We then, of course, have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man again, or Tony Stark. And then we have the disc, and of course the Avengers logo is highlighted on the disc to show that we are on one of the Avengers films. Gonna slip that in there. We now have Iron Man 3. I actually really like Iron Man 3 personally. I know there's a lot of people that don't like Iron Man 3. Directed by Shane Black. I actually really liked the subbed version with the Mandarin. There is talk they are going to redo the Mandarin, or they're going to introduce the Mandarin that was in the comics and the animated TV show. So you can take away my house, all my tricks and my toys, but one thing you can't take away: I am Iron Man. Cue the Black Sabbath song. But there we are. Really do like this movie. I kind of view it as a disaster film. Don't know if that's weird for me to say, but I really enjoy Iron Man 3 personally. And I really like Guy Pearce in this. I've forgotten the character he plays off the top of my head right now, but I really enjoy Guy Pearce in this film. And I just enjoy that it doesn't take itself very seriously at all. We then have Thor Dark World, or The Dark World. I, again, haven't seen any Thor films yet, so there we go. On the back, we have You Lied to Me. I'm impressed. Of course, that's Thor talking to Loki, and then we have them on the front there. And then, of course, we have both the 4K and the Blu-ray. Next up, we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier, which is so far my personal favourite of this saga. Love this film to absolute bits. I've seen it so many times. Love this film. And of course, the quote on the back is, before we get started, does anyone want to get out? Which is, of course, a reference to the elevator or lift scene, which is, again, one of my favourite scenes. I'll be absolutely honest with you. Really do enjoy that scene. I just enjoy this film. It's got some real dark moments, some real light moments. Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. Do I need to say any more? It really does tick a lot of boxes for me. Then we move on to Guardians of the Galaxy. I have seen this film. On the back, the quote is, "We are Groot," which is, of course, a reference to the end of the film, actually, in this regard. Slight spoiler, maybe. But there we go. And then next we have Avengers Age of Ultron. Love this film. James Spader as Ultron is just fantastic. Really did enjoy this film quite a bit. And talking of Ultron, there we go. And on the back is "Peace in our time" is the quote on the back. And then we have both of the discs here. But but really did enjoy that film. And as I said, James Spader as Ultron. So now we've got Ant-Man. This kind of goes into a territory where I haven't seen much past here, apart from one film we'll be getting to that I have seen, but that's Ant-Man. On the back it says, "I'm Ant-Man. What? You haven't heard of me?" And then we have Ant-Man on the front, and then of course we have the 4K and the Blu-ray. Nope, I put that back wrong. And then we've got Captain America Civil War. I have seen Civil War because I went on a bit of an Iron Man binge end of last year, and I watched all 3 Iron Man films and this as well, because obviously this does feature Iron Man quite a bit, or Tony Stark quite a bit. The quote is, "I don't know if you've ever been in a fight before, but there's usually not this much talking." There we go. I believe, isn't this the first on-screen appearance as Tom Holland as Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken? But there we go. We will slip that back in. There we go. And now we have Doctor Strange. Again, I've not seen Doctor Strange. Obviously, this one is directed by Scott Derrickson, who is a horror director, but we have Doctor Strange on the front, and the quote is, "Doorman knew, I've come to bargain." There we go. But love the casting of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, always have. I want to take a quick swig of my coffee, just to wet the whistle before we continue. We'll slip that in there. Put my finger there so I remember where I am. And we'll move on to the next one, which is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I can't remember if I've seen Volume 2 or not. But there we go. And on the back it says, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all." And then of course we have the 2 discs here. We'll slip that in here. And then next we've got Spider-Man Homecoming, the first actually dedicated film with Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Talking of which, there we go. And then this is my chance to prove myself. And then, of course, we have the discs inside. Oh, I have that upside down. I'm going to slip that back in. We next have Thor Ragnarok. Heard great things about this film. Again, haven't seen it. The quote is, "It sounds like you had a pretty special and intimate relationship with this hammer, and that losing it was almost comparable to losing a loved one." So there we go, there's the quote, there's that side, and of course, once again, we have the discs. Nope, there we go. Slip that back in. And now we've got Black Panther. Again, heard fantastic things about this one. We have, of course, Black Panther on the front. The quote is, "You're a good man with a good heart, and it's hard for a good man to be a king." Ain't that true? But we have, of course, Black Panther. I do also have Wakanda Forever on 4K, just to my right here, actually. It's when the 4Ks are picked up separately. We then have Avengers Infinity War. The quote is, "The hardest choices require the strongest wills." And we have Thanos on the front there. We have the quote on the back And then of course we have the 2 discs right there. Almost there when it comes to the main. We have Ant-Man and the Wasp. I also have Quantumania to my right as well. But there we go. There's Ant-Man and the Wasp. And hold on, you gave her wings? And there we go. And then we have we of course have the discs. 3 more to go before we get into the goodies that are in that flap at the front. Okay. We then have Captain Marvel, which I know a lot of people, there's mixed opinions on this one. I know that one, mainly because of Brie Larson. Talk of the devil. There we go. I do have the Marvels to my right as well. I've nothing to prove to you is the quote. And of course we have the discs. And I believe the last 2 we have is Avengers Endgame and of course Spider-Man Far From Home. Oh, which way? That way. And then we have Avengers Endgame as predicted. And the quote is Avengers Assemble. We've got Cap on the front, Kappa Mac, I don't know. And then of course we have the 2 discs. And last, but by no means least, we have Spider-Man Far From Home. Let me put this back properly. Spider-Man Far From Home. I do need to get hold of No Way Home. Nope. And we have Spidey on the front, Noir Spidey. The quote is, I think Nick Fury just hijacked our summer vacation. And then of course we have the discs on the inside. So that's all of the main films that are in the set. But you do get some bonus goodies that are exclusive to this set. So if I pull it back a little bit and open up here, and I can somehow, as I fall over backwards, oh, there we go. There is a little tray, a secret tray, if you will. On the inside, I'm just going to take out that, and there's another thing there that just says bonus. I'm going to slip that out as well. So first of all is bonus, so you get a bonus disc for some of the films, so you get a bonus disc for, no, that's just bonus disc. Oh, it's each the bonus discs, I swear. Oh, there we go. So you do get bonus discs for Endgame and the Infinity Saga itself. I'm not sure what these are specifically to. I'll have to look up at some point what these are specifically to. But I do believe this disc is exclusive to this set. However, I will say I think some of these featurettes and content on this disc have made their way to Disney+, which did piss off a lot of fans, because as I said, this set wasn't cheap, still isn't cheap. We'll get onto that in a moment. And in this little envelope that just says Infinity Saga, you get a letter from Kevin Feige. You get an autographed sheet with all the main cast on it. And you get a really nice lithograph of the panoramic sort of picture on the front there. So I'm going to carefully put those back together. I'm going to slip them back into this envelope and end this video, basically. So before I do end the video, I don't mind saying I paid £410 for this set. So I traded a bunch of stuff into CX. Got it, ordered it from CX. The ordering process from CX was wonderful. I'm not going to lie. I know that CX do get a bad rap, but in this particular occasion, they were really good with it. I'm just going to get this little plastic bit on the top, and then we can just slip and slide that back over. And there we go. As I said, this is an awesome shelf piece, and I'm going to have so much fun working my way through this, displaying this, all that kind of stuff. Really happy to have this in the collection. And as I should have mentioned, I do have put them on top. You can't really see them, but there you go. I showed off in a recent DVD / Blu-ray 4K update that I do have some of the other films that have been released since this saga. Yeah, this set is not cheap nowadays, and it's not going down in price anytime soon. I've wanted this for absolutely forever. I've just realised that I put some of those discs back upside down, it would seem. But I will sort that out. I'll sort that out later on. Yeah, it's not a cheap set, but I wanted it for quite some time, and I'm really glad I now have it in the collection. I do understand that the best versions of these films is on Disney Plus, not necessarily on these discs. But at the end of the day, sometimes you get something not because of the contents of the discs. Anyway, until next time, guys, please take care, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.